and welcome to Singing with Confidence. My name is Trish and I will be your singing teacher. Do you have a breathy voice? Are you losing breath too easily? Are you finding it hard to reach those top notes? You might have an issue with your onset. And what do I mean by onset? An onset is how a note starts. Specifically, how a note starts in your larynx. When you sing, air flows through your vocal folds, which are housed in your larynx, and your vocal folds vibrate when that air flows through. For a person to have a clean, clear singing voice, those vocal folds need to be together. They need to have full closure. When you have a breathy voice, an aspirate onset, the vocal folds don't close properly. There is a gap, a phonary gap in the vocal folds, and that means that air can escape through that gap, creating that breathy voice that many aspirate singers have. Most of the time, having that breathy voice using that aspirate onset is not a choice. A lot of girls, when they go through puberty, find that their voice suddenly becomes weaker, breathier. That's because their vocal folds have gone through a rapid growth period, just like boys do. And that leaves them with vocal folds that they have to retrain to get that stronger voice back that they had when they were younger. This just means that those who do have that breathy voice have to work a little harder to strengthen that voice before they can really fully harness the full potential of what they could do with their voice. Now, when we sing, we want to start each phrase with a simultaneous onset. That is when the air and the sound flow through the vocal folds at the same time. When you have a breathy voice, an aspirate onset, the air comes before the sound because that gap in the vocal folds allows too much air to flow through. The simultaneous onset should be the default for all singers. And they should be using the aspirate or the other onset, the glottal onset, as choices. You will never be able to achieve a clean, clear, and strong sound on an aspirate onset. It is in every singer's interest to be able to achieve that simultaneous onset, to be able to achieve a clean, clear sound so that they can then explore the other onsets, the other styles, the other sounds in the full knowledge that they have full control over their entire vocal range. And that is what the simultaneous onset will give you. So now I want to look at the difference between an aspirate and a simultaneous onset. We're going to use the vowel R. R is a really good vowel to start with. It is open. It allows for lots of resonance in your mouth and throat, and it is a great one to put consonants at the front of. So we're going to put a Y at the start of this R and say ya, ya, ya. Do you hear that? That's a nice, clean, clear sound. That is a simultaneous onset. Try it with me. Ya, ya, ya. Now make sure you're not speaking too high or too low. You're right in the middle of your range. Very comfortable. We're not trying to push anything. We're just feeling and hearing. We're feeling how it feels. We're paying attention to how it feels and paying attention to how it sounds. Make sure that you are paying attention more to how it feels rather than the sound. We tend to distort how we hear things, so I would always advise feeling first, then sound. If it feels good, then start paying attention to the sound, or let someone else critique the sound. So let's try that again. Ya, 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 ya. Did it feel strong, powerful, clean, and clear? Let's have a look at the aspirate. We're going to take R again, but this time we're going to put an H in front of it and say ha, ha, ha. It's pretty breathy, right? Kind of weak, not very powerful, not clear at all. It's a bit fuzzy, and it feels very, it feels a bit deflating. I'm losing too much air. Ha. I'm having to work a little harder to really produce that sound. So let's go back to ya, 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 ya. Say it with me again. Ya, ya, ya. Now, as I said before, it's in every singer's interest to be able to achieve this simultaneous onset. Not only is it going to give you a clean, clear voice, your voice is going to sound stronger, you're going to feel stronger and feel more confident, and also you are going to be maintaining a healthy voice. Having a simultaneous onset is going to give everything your voice needs to be healthy. So if you're struggling to strengthen this breathy voice, here are some exercises that will help you achieve that clean, clear tone that all confident singers have. Now, before we start these exercises, I just need to say that you will have to tailor them to your voice. Some of the notes that I will start on will be either too high or too low for you. They are an average starting note, but some of you might find it difficult to start there. If you do, that's okay. Everyone's voice is different, so you just find a lower or a higher note to start on and use the same pattern. If you can start on the notes that I give, that's also fine. That's awesome. It's important that you take charge of your own voice and you tailor these exercises to your voice's range and capabilities. For this first exercise, we're going to hold an ing. Now, ing is really good to achieve that full closure. So we're going to hold this ing until the end of our breath. We're not going to squeeze that last bit, just until we feel it comfortably ending, okay? So breathe in and ing. Now make sure that you drop your jaw so your mouth is nice and open and you're in a comfortable note in the middle of your range, all right? Try one more time. Breathe in. So you're looking for a steady sound that is bright and clear. This next exercise is ing, e, ah on a descending scale, which means it's going downwards. And it sounds like this. Ing, e, ah, ing, e, ah, ing, e, ah, ing, e, ah, ing, e, ah. And then we go up a semitone. And you can continue going up until you've gone up 5 notes. Don't go any higher than 5. And make sure that you are singing at the front of your mouth. Everything is forward. Ing, e, ah. And try and connect ing, e, ah. This exercise also uses ing, but this time we're changing the vowel every time. And it sounds like this. Ing, ah, ing, e, ing, e, ing, I, ing, o, ing, u. Move up. Ing, ah, ing, e, ing, e, ing, I, ing, o, ing, oo. Ing, e, ing, e, ing, I, ing, o, ing, oo. And you can continue going up through your whole range. This is really good to get a clean, consistent sound through your entire range and going between those vowels, making sure that you have the same consistency from vowel to vowel. This next one uses and o. And o are good. They encourage full closure, and they're really good for working your abdominals, your support. So when you sing and o, you should feel a bounce in your abdominals, and they should go slightly out. O. Try it a few times. O. O. Okay, this is the pattern. We're starting up here. O. O. Notice that it's staccato. It's punchier. There's no connection here. It's O. And lift. Keep that high. Keep it really high. Otherwise, it's going to go flat. Let's try the whole thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. O. 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 Alright, for this next exercise, you want to get your brattiest, your twangiest, your most nasal voice. Yeah. It's going to sound annoying. It's not going to sound pretty. Not all singing is pretty. Okay, so this is how this one goes. Nya, 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 nya. Hear how nasal, how forward and bright that sound is? That's a good way of getting that sound, that bright, clean, clear sound. Let's try that again. Nya, 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 nya. Let's go up. Nya, 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 nya. Nya, 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 nya. So this is what's called a broken scale. And you can see that there's ing, oo, e, and ah. And you're going to sing this scale in that order. So ing, oo, e, and ah. You're not going to move up. So currently in C, you're not going to move up to D flat or C sharp until you have nailed ing, e, oo, ah in C, or whatever scale you start in. So that what I mean by nail is you can run from the bottom of the scale to the top smoothly without a break on every single vowel or consonant that is here, the ing, e, oo, or ah, and then you can move up. So how does it sound? It sounds like this. Ing, ing, So that felt pretty good to me. It felt clean and clear. It was stable. It was smooth. So now I can move on to oo, okay? So you can do this one in your own time. This is probably the one that I would recommend spending the most amount of time on. Just getting that smooth run from bottom to top of the scale and moving up your range. I would suggest starting lower down in your range and then moving your way up to the top so that you are working your entire range and that you get a smooth transition all the way from bottom to top. And last but not least is the trusty sirening up and down your entire range. I'm sure that if you've done any kind of singing, you are familiar with this. This is working from the very bottom to the very top in a siren. It could be on anything, ing, oo, e, ah. I like to do it on an oo or an e. So basically how I would do a siren is like this. Ooh. It's really good for making sure that you have that smooth transition throughout your entire range. It's actually good for checking over your voice on a daily basis, seeing how up to singing your voice is, if it's tired, if you're having any issues in particular areas. It will give you an indication of that. Now, I do want to encourage you to do these exercises a few times, not just once. Do them over and over again, slowly building up that strength and slowly getting that gap closed. It takes time. Be patient. If there's anything you take away from this video, is be patient and kind to yourself. This is not a quick fix. We are retraining muscles here, so be patient. I have every confidence that if you are consistent with doing these exercises, that you will become a stronger singer who can sing with that simultaneous onset, and your confidence will soar. There are some other things you might want to consider as well as these exercises, and they are: how's your basic technique? Are you supporting properly? Are you allowing for resonance? Is your mouth open? Is your throat open? Are you smiling on the inside? Are you using that yawn technique to get that throat open? Is everything at the front of your mouth? How's your diction? And how is your alignment? Are you feeling tall or are you slumped? Are you stiff or are you relaxed? Another thing to consider would be energy. How is your energy? Are you a bit laid back? Or are you too energetic? Or are you giving the right energy to match the song? The last thing I want to say is be patient. Strengthening a voice takes time. This is a muscle that we are retraining. It takes time. You can do this, but just be kind to yourself and be patient. I'm so happy that you joined me today, and I'm really excited for this journey that we are on to becoming a more confident singer. I'll see you next time.